Look around. Most people have settled for good enough, settled for mediocrity, but not you, not anymore. Because average isn't safety, it's slow death. It's the silent killer of potential. It's comfort dressed up as security. It's what happens when you stop demanding more from yourself. The truth is, average men live quiet lives of regret. They trade ambition for excuses, dreams for routine, fire for comfort. But you were built different. You weren't made to blend in. You were made to stand out, to push limits, to demand more. The world doesn't need another nice guy. It needs a man who's relentless, a man who refuses to settle, a man who makes average uncomfortable. So kill the disease, refuse to settle, and make excellence your baseline. Be the best or be forgotten. Let's talk about reality. No filters, no fluff, no sugarcoating. The world doesn't remember the ones who almost made it. It doesn't celebrate effort, it celebrates results. You're either the man who made it happen or just another story that faded away. Every man wants to be respected. Every man wants to be admired. But respect isn't handed out. It's earned through consistency, strength, and mastery. The truth? Most people stop halfway. They start with fire, but quit when it burns. They talk about dreams, but sleep through the grind. They want the crown, but refuse the scars that come with it. You can't live like that. You can't call yourself a man and back down when it gets tough. You were built to lead, to rise, to build. The world doesn't care about what you wanted to do. It only cares about what you did. That's the difference between men who make history and men who vanish into it. Every day you have a choice to settle for comfort or to chase greatness, to make excuses or to make progress, to complain or to conquer. If you want to stand out, you must separate yourself from the ordinary. That means saying no to distractions, no to weakness, no to wasting time doing what everyone else does. While they scroll, you study. While they rest, you grind. While they talk, you build. Because you're not here to blend in, you're here to dominate. Excellence isn't about talent, it's about obsession. It's about refusing to accept anything less than your absolute best. It's about demanding more from yourself every single day, even when no one's watching, even when no one claps, even when it hurts like hell. That's where greatness is born, in the dark, when the world's asleep and you're still out there, building yourself into something unshakable. People say you're too serious. Good. They say you work too hard. Perfect. They say you're obsessed. Exactly. Because that's what it takes. Obsession creates excellence. Comfort creates mediocrity. You think the greats got there by accident? They built themselves brick by brick, sacrifice by sacrifice. They traded comfort for purpose. They didn't chase motivation, they built discipline. That's the difference between talkers and doers, between men who live for recognition and men who live for legacy. And legacy doesn't come easy. It demands everything: your time, your energy, your focus, your pride. You'll lose sleep, you'll lose friends, you'll lose comfort. But what you gain is respect, power, immortality. Every scar becomes a story. Every failure becomes a lesson. Every sacrifice becomes fuel. You'll face doubt from others and from yourself. But you keep going, because winners don't stop when it's hard. They stop when it's done. You've got to treat your craft like it's your name on the line, because it is. Your work represents who you are. If it's sloppy, you're sloppy. If it's excellent, you're excellent. Your name should mean precision, strength, and relentless standards. Don't do it halfway. Don't do it good enough. Do it until it's flawless. Do it until it demands attention. Do it until people have no choice but to say your name. Because average doesn't inspire. Average doesn't lead. Average doesn't last. Be the man who moves differently, who walks with intent, who speaks with weight, who doesn't chase applause. He earns it. The best men in history weren't the strongest or the smartest. They were the ones who refused to quit, who refused to be ordinary, who refused to die without leaving a mark. So when life hits you, don't crumble, rebuild harder. When it breaks you, come back sharper. When it doubts you, prove it wrong with action, not talk. You're not meant to blend in with mediocrity. You're meant to stand alone at the top, calm, unshaken, focused, because being the best isn't a title, it's a lifestyle. It's how you breathe, how you move, how you think. It's refusing to give half when the world accepts half. It's demanding excellence even when no one's watching. So build that standard, live by it, protect it. When people think of your name, they should think of strength. They should think of precision. They should think of dominance. You don't need validation. You don't need praise. All you need is the fire inside you, the hunger that never dies. Because in the end, when it's all said and done, you won't be remembered for how much you wanted it. You'll be remembered for how much you did for it. So rise above the noise. Cut the excuses. Crush the doubt. Be undeniable. Make your presence felt. Make your work speak louder than any words ever could. Make your legacy echo long after you're gone. Because time will erase most names, but not yours. Not if you give everything. Not if you become the man who refused to settle, be the best, or be forgotten. There's no middle ground. There's no second place. There's no apologies. Only legacy. Average is easy. That's why it's crowded. Everyone wants to be great. Everyone wants to win, but not everyone wants to earn it. They love the idea of success, the money, the respect, the recognition, but they hate the process. They hate the grind, the early mornings, the late nights. They hate the part where it hurts. That's why the world is full of dreamers, not doers, full of talkers, not builders, full of next year people, waiting for the perfect time that never comes. Because average is easy, average is safe, average gives you an excuse to stay small and pretend it's okay. It doesn't ask for your heart, it doesn't demand your discipline, it doesn't test your limits, it just lets you coast while slowly draining every ounce of greatness out of you. And most men, they take that deal. They trade purpose for comfort, ambition for safety, potential for pleasure. They settle for average and call it peace. They settle for mediocrity and call it balance. But deep down, they know they betrayed themselves. They know they've abandoned the man they could have been. Because average might feel easy, but it's torture for a man who knows he's meant for more. The top is empty for a reason. Because the path there is brutal. It's filled with nights where you question everything, days when no one believes in you, moments when you wonder if all this pain is even worth it. And yet, the ones who keep going, they're the ones who make it. They're the ones who become unstoppable because they didn't rely on motivation. They relied on discipline. They didn't need validation. They had vision. They didn't run from pain. They used it as fuel. They understand something most men never will. You don't become great by avoiding struggle. You become great by walking straight through it. You don't get stronger by running from pressure. You get stronger by living under it until it can't break you anymore. When you choose greatness, you choose war. A war against your excuses, your comfort, your weakness. Every morning, every rep, every failure, every doubt, it's all part of the fight. Average men avoid the war. They sit on the sidelines and call it peace. But peace without purpose is just surrender. And you weren't built to surrender. You were built to dominate, to take everything you've got, your pain, your mistakes, your past, and turn it into power. Average men look for shortcuts. Great men build the road themselves. Average men seek comfort. Great men seek challenge. Average men fear pain. Great men become immune to it. If you're tired, good. That's proof you're moving. If you're doubting yourself, good. That means you're in unfamiliar territory, growth. If no one's supporting you, perfect. That means you're walking a path they were never built to follow. Because the climb to the top isn't meant for everyone. It's meant for the obsessed, the disciplined, the ones who wake up every day with something to prove, not to the world, but to themselves. You can't rise if you live like the rest. You can't lead if you think like the crowd. You can't build an empire with average habits, average effort, or an average mind. So stop comparing. Stop waiting. Stop asking for permission to become great. You already have everything you need. You just have to decide to use it. Because greatness isn't born. It's forged. Forged in the fire of rejection, struggle, sacrifice, and obsession. Forged when everyone else quits and you keep going. Forged when you stop playing small and start demanding more from yourself. Average is crowded because everyone's hiding there. But the top, it's silent, it's ruthless, it's earned. And if you're willing to suffer more than the next man, if you're willing to stay hungry when they've given up, if you're willing to die before you settle, then you'll see what they never will. Because greatness doesn't live in comfort. It lives in the grind. It lives in the pain. It lives in the man who refuses to stop when everyone else does. Average is cheap. Greatness costs everything. But when you pay that price, the world remembers your name. Discipline is the key to being the best. You want to be the best? Then kill your addiction to motivation. Kill your need for comfort. Kill the soft voice in your head that says, take it easy, because success doesn't care how you feel. Discipline does not ask for permission. It commands obedience. Most men lose before they even begin. They think greatness is built on inspiration. It's not. It's built on repetition, on showing up every single day when your body aches, when your mind screams enough, when no one is clapping for you. Motivation is a spark. Discipline is the fire, the one that burns long after everyone else quits. When the average man hits snooze, the disciplined man's already in motion. When the world is comfortable, he's suffering willingly, because he knows pain is the tax you pay to be exceptional. He's not looking for easy, he's looking for growth. He's not searching for comfort, he's hunting for strength. Discipline is what separates the lions from the sheep. It's what makes you dangerous in a world full of men who quit when it hurts. There will be days when you don't want to move. Days where your body says no and your mind agrees. That's where the weak fall. That's where the disciplined rise. Because he's not led by emotion, he's led by standards. His word is law. He said he'd do it, so he does it. Simple, ruthless, non-negotiable. You think champions wake up excited every day? No! They wake up exhausted, beaten, and sometimes broken, but they still show up. That's why they're called the best. Discipline is the art of domination. It's mastering yourself before you try to master the world. It's fighting the war in your own mind every damn day. It's doing the reps when no one's counting. It's studying when everyone else is distracted. It's saying no to laziness, to distraction, to mediocrity, because you owe yourself more. The disciplined man doesn't chase the easy path. He creates the path through pain. And when others crumble, he remains calm, steady, unstoppable, because he's trained for it. He's lived in discomfort long enough to make it home. He's bled enough times to stop fearing the cut. You want to build something that lasts? Discipline is the foundation. Without it, everything collapses. You can have talent. You can have potential. You can even have motivation. But without discipline, you'll always fall short. Because talent without consistency is wasted. Motivation without action is useless, and dreams without discipline, they die. The disciplined man doesn't need the crowd. He doesn't need praise. He doesn't even need recognition. His validation comes from the work, from knowing he gave everything. Every rep, every early morning, every lonely night, they stack up. And one day the world will see what he built in silence. They'll call it overnight success, but he'll know it took years of relentless discipline to look overnight. Discipline is not punishment, it's freedom. Freedom from weakness, freedom from failure, freedom from being average. Because the man who controls himself controls everything. When you live with discipline, you don't fear pressure. You become pressure. You don't fear the challenge. You are the challenge. You move different. You think different. You stand out. Not because you talk louder, but because your results are louder than words. So stop waiting. Stop hesitating. Stop saying tomorrow. Discipline starts now, in this moment. Not when it's easy, not when it's convenient. Now, when it's hard. Every second you waste, someone else is outworking you. Every excuse you make, someone else is getting sharper. And every time you give in to comfort, someone else is becoming a monster. So be the monster. Be the one who doesn't stop. Be the one they can't understand, but can't ignore either. Because the world doesn't remember the almosts. It remembers the relentless, the obsessed, the disciplined. In the end, it's not talent that makes legends, it's discipline. The kind of discipline that turns men into beasts and beasts into monsters. Refuse to be anything less. You get one shot at this life. One. No do-overs, no restarts, no someday. So why waste it living like you're just another face in the crowd? Why shrink yourself to fit into places you were born to outgrow? Why silence your fire just to make weak men comfortable? You weren't born to blend in, you were born to dominate. You weren't built for mediocrity, you were built for greatness. And every time you settle, every time you play small, you betray the man you were meant to become. Average men live on autopilot, wake up, work, eat, scroll, sleep, repeat. They talk about dreams like it's a hobby, not a duty. They worship comfort like it's a god, and then wonder why they feel empty. But you're wired different. You crave more. You're not chasing money, fame, or attention. You're chasing power, purpose, and legacy. Because you know deep down, this world only respects results, not excuses, not intentions, not potential, and you refuse to be another man who could have been great but never had the guts to pay the price. You want to be unstoppable? Then start acting like it. Stop waiting for motivation. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for someone to believe in you and become your own proof. Train when you're tired. Show up when you're drained. Work when others rest. Because that's where legends are built. In the silence, in the struggle, in the repetition. While others are busy talking, you're executing. While they're distracted, you're sharpening your edge. While they're chasing comfort, you're building your kingdom. You'll bleed. You'll fail. You'll fall. But you'll rise stronger, sharper, harder. Because pain doesn't break real men, it builds them. Every scar tells a story of a man who refused to quit. Every setback forged discipline. Every rejection created resilience. That's what separates the average from the elite. Average men crumble under pressure. The elite thrive in it. They feed off challenge. They grow in chaos. They stare at the impossible and move anyway. You want to know what greatness really is? It's not talent. It's not luck. It's consistency under fire. It's waking up every day with something to prove, not to the world, but to yourself. It's doing what's required when you feel nothing. It's choosing discipline when your body says stop. It's refusing to compromise when no one's watching. You don't need validation. You don't need applause. You need warrior standards. Because the modern world is soft. Men are addicted to comfort, addicted to distraction, addicted to being liked. But the man who embraces struggle, who finds peace in the grind, who refuses comfort, becomes dangerous. And that's the kind of man this world can't ignore. Refuse to be the man who dies with potential still inside him. Refuse to be the one who played it safe, stayed quiet and settled for good enough. Refuse to be the one who dreams big but moves small. Be the man who leaves no doubt, the one who gives everything, the one who pushes so far past the limit that average men can't even relate. When they sleep, you work. When they doubt, you build. When they quit, you double down. Because one day, all the pain, all the late nights, all the sacrifice, it'll make sense. It'll be worth it. And you'll look back with pride, knowing you never sold yourself short. You'll stand on top, not because you were lucky, but because you refused to be anything less. So raise your standards, raise your effort, raise your discipline. No more excuses, no more comfort, no more average. Every breath you take, make it mean something. Every step, make it count. Every moment, make it a weapon. Because greatness doesn't come to the ones who wish. It comes to the ones who work like it's war. Refuse weakness. Refuse mediocrity. Refuse comfort. Be the man who scares excuses. Be the man who moves like destiny owes him nothing. Be the man who becomes everything he once dreamed of. Because the best don't talk. The best don't post. The best don't seek credit. They become every single day. In the end, you weren't made to blend in. You weren't made to be average. You were built to stand out, to rise above, to become the best at whatever you touch. Mediocrity is easy. Greatness isn't. But that's exactly why it's worth it. If this spoke to you, hit that like button, subscribe for more, and comment, "I'm the best," to prove you watched till the very end. See you in the next one.